Hi, Thistle and Verse, and today I'll be participating in the Page to Screen tag, which is created by This Brown Girl Reads, and I was tagged by This Brown Girl Reads. So thank you for that, and now I'm going to get into the questions of the tag. So, first question is, what page to screen made you cry in reaction to both formats? None. I don't really cry about books like that, and I don't really cry about movies like that, so I don't think any have. What page to screen are you looking forward to this year? Was Birds of Prey a page to screen? Like, I thought Birds of Prey had a comic. That was one I was really looking forward to and I saw and enjoyed a lot, so I guess that would be it. What page to screen series were you happy to see discontinued? I'll be controversial and say Anne with an E. Gasp! Anne with an E! I didn't like dislike it. I actually used to watch it a lot with my little sister. It's like set in like old timey Canada, so it's like a bunch of people walking around in like these hand crocheted, hand knitted garments, and I can crochet, and I would just kind of like nudge my sister and be like, I can make that. Guess what? Guess what? I can make that one too. That was fun, and then we just kind of stopped watching it, and it got discontinued, and I was like, okay, goodbye. What series would you like to see as a page to screen? Magnifique Noir by Brianna Lawrence. It's about a group of black queer magical girls who are in college and they're fighting monsters. And I think it would translate really well. Like, it's already very influenced by magical girl anime. I think it would look really cute as an anime. I think that would like really bring the energy of the book alive. Also, the Jumpy series I think would be like a really cute like cartoon for children. Like, I could see it like, if you know the illustrator Vashti Harrison, I could see it in kind of her like drawing style, but like maybe if that was like made like a computer graphic like CG animation style, like I could see the Jumpies as something like that. It's just like very atmosphere driven. There's a lot of like monsters and stuff in the woods, and it is a middle grade book, so I think that would all that would like translate well into a cartoon series for children. The next question is, what page to screen is in production that you are excited about? There's actually like so many, and I don't even know like what's coming out when and like where they're going to be out. But fifth season by N.K. Jemisin is going to become a series on TV. I'm super excited for that. I love the book. The Broken Earth trilogy is one of my favorite fantasy series right now, so I'm like super pumped for that. Binti is getting a TV show as well. I enjoyed that novella trilogy. I think it's gonna be really interesting to like actually like see the aliens rendered on screen. I think that's gonna be really cool. I think it's probably gonna be live action, but Nnedi Okorafor showed on her social media like the Korean version of the novels, and they have some like very nice like black and white like more impressionistic art, I would say, and I could also like see it like that. Like, I really like that type of feel, like more of an experimental cartoon. I could also see being pulled off very well for this series. Another one I'm excited about is Dawn by Octavia Butler. It's part of the Xenogenesis trilogy. This one's in production. I think it's going to be really cool to finally see the Owen Collie like on screen. For some reason, I always think of them as looking kind of like the Pirates of the Caribbean, Davy Jones with his like tentacle face. I always picture them as looking kind of like that, but blue. So it'll be interesting to see what they actually look like. Then Wild Seed by Octavia Butler is also getting a TV series adaptation that I'm excited for. Wild Seed is my favorite Octavia Butler novel, and I don't really even know what I'm expecting going into it. I just know that Nnedi Okorafor, I believe, is working on writing the script, and she has shared multiple times on social media that Octavia Butler's family is like very much in control of like what of her work gets adapted and how it gets adapted, and that they have been very enthusiastically supporting this project. So that makes me happy, and I have very high hopes for this series. I heard Who Fears Death is also in production for a TV series by Nnedi Okorafor. It's kind of hard to explain Who Fears Death, so I won't, but you should look it up. It's a good book. And Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi. And Akwaeke Emezi wrote the book and is also very heavily involved in production of the TV series. Like, this is when I first heard of it going to production. I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. Like, I felt like it worked so well as a novel, and that would be so hard to translate to screen because the structure and the experience I felt was like so rooted in it being a book. But if Akwaeke Emezi is involved with like the writing and the production, then I think that the show is going to be faithful to the spirit of the story. And they mentioned online and on Twitter that they are like very pumped about what they're doing. They're very happy with the direction that it's taking. So that's it. Next question is, what page to screen do you appreciate as two different entities? I would pick Howl's Moving Castle for that one. I really liked Diana Wynne Jones when I was a kid, and so I read a lot of her books. And I also really love Hayao Miyazaki's films. And those are two works that I think are very different and that I appreciated for their own reasons. And the book version of Howl's Moving Castle, The Witch of the Waste, is like the major antagonist. But in the film, the major antagonist is the royal family. And Miyazaki has a lot of anti-war messages in that movie. And so they're just very different, and I think they both work for their own reasons. What hyped page to screen did you not vibe with? Polar Express? I don't know if that really counts. I I don't know how hyped it was, but like I remember that was a movie that I think was supposed to be like this big like visual marvel when it came out, and like I watched it and I saw it in theaters. Like my grandma took me and my siblings when we were kids, and I was just like very bored. I don't remember a whole lot of it. Like they're on a train and there's hot chocolate and there's like dancing conductors that give kids hot chocolate, and then there's Santa, and I don't remember a whole lot about it to even talk about it. So I feel like that speaks for itself. What was the best page to screen you ever watched? There's this book called Journey to the West, which is a folk novel from 1500s China, and it is about this monkey who is trying to become immortal. Like, there's a lot of Buddhist themes and imagery in the book, and monkey's like kind of like learning all these different principles to extend his life. And Monkey is a trickster and gets into trouble, and he pisses off some gods, and he's trapped for a long time. They're like, he's going to be useful at some point, so we're just going to trap him for the set amount of time, and then we'll let him out. And there is a monk, Tripitaka, who comes along, and part of Monkey's punishment is that he has to help this monk go to retrieve some holy Buddhist scrolls from the West. I forget what country they go to exactly. I feel like they went to somewhere in India to get the scrolls. I feel like the plot of this book is like kind of hard to explain to people and like sell it to people and like recommend it to like just like friends or something. And it's kind of hard to explain like why I love it so much. But there was this movie series about it. It was just like the Monkey King series. And Monkey King 2 is on Netflix, and I watched it and I loved it. It's in Chinese, and I just watched it with subtitles. And I just really liked so many aspects of it. Like, I felt like I got that folkloric, like, bigger than life feel. I felt like it wasn't like a super duper high budget film. Like, a lot of money obviously went into it, but I felt like they were good at being like, this is what needs to look nice. Like, this is where we're going to put our money. And, like, we're going to kind of, like, do some money-saving tricks on, like, this end. So, like, the things that need to look good, like, the dragons look really nice, but, like, maybe the flying looks a little off. And, like, I just really liked it. I thought it was, like, very well done. And I loved the costumes. Like, again, it's, like, 1500s China, so, like, the costumes are kind of more elaborate period pieces. And I thought the acting was really good. Like, Monkey is sort of like this big trickster. He's kind of flamboyant, and he has like these mannerisms that he does. Like, he has a very characteristic laugh and like very characteristic like movements. Like, he does certain things with his hands and stuff like that. It's like very hard to convey, but I thought that actor did like a really good job of bringing this very animated character to life. The way they did the Monkey King himself was that it's sort of like the line from Wizard of Oz, where it's a person with like a mix of body paint and costume, and they used some like CGI on his tail so that his tail actually moves like a monkey's. And I thought that actor did a very good job of bringing the Monkey King's larger than life characteristics to the screen. Like, I thought his energy was really good. We get like this sense of like Monkey's like arrogant slash threatening side, and also his like trickster side. I thought the actor did a very good job of melding together all these different things and like making a very compelling movie. Like, I just thought that the actor for Monkey I just thought he just killed it. And Tripitaka also works really well. Like, Monkey's this really big character, and Tripitaka is this more like calm, and he's a monk, and he's very pious. And I thought that, like, again, like, I had to watch it with the subtitles, and I thought that I still got like the energy from like their interactions. The actor was just very good at like pulling off those comedic moments, and I just love this movie so much. What pace to screen did you watch, and the ending was better on screen? Oh, I'll just say Cat in the Hat because it had an up-tempo pop soundtrack and the book didn't.
We even managed to work in an up-tempo pop tune for the soundtrack. That's important.
So this is clearly the superior body of work. That's like a family classic, like so bad that it's good family classic. But like on a serious note, Fantastic Mr. Fox, which was by Roald Dahl, and the film was like a Wes Anderson like stop motion film. And that is another family classic. I watch it. I feel like I watch it at least once a year. I really enjoy that movie. Basic premise of the book is that Mr. Fox is pissed off all these farmers because he's very cocky and sure of himself, and he's like, they're all very protective of whatever crop it is that they farm or whatever animal it is that they farm. And he's like, I'm just gonna steal her stuff, and there's nothing they can do about it. And they're like, no, there is something we can do about it. We're gonna level the forest in pursuit of you and your family, and when we get you, we're gonna kill you. I don't really remember much of the book. It wasn't like a big, like, iconic thing for me like the movie was. But in the book, they basically are stuck all living underground, and Mr. Fox is like, I will sneak up above ground and go hunt for everyone, and we're just gonna live underground forever. And the farmers are just stuck like waiting at the hole that they think the fox have to come out of, because they don't realize that they're comfortable underground, and they're just like sitting there waiting until they die. And in the movie, they still are underground, but they tunnel up into this grocery store where they find everything that they need to eat. They get all the food from the supermarket and bring it back to the underground community, but the supermarket is like fully stocked with all the products that the farmers make. And again, oh, it's on an up-tempo pop soundtrack. It goes out and it ends on an up-tempo classic rock soundtrack, and a bunch of weird like stop motion puppets like dancing and like drinking out of juice boxes. And clearly the superior ending, without a doubt, hands down, clearly. It's really weird. It's a Wes Anderson movie. Like, things are just like random weird things are happening. And it's like, for me, it's very quotable. Like, I definitely like quote things of that from that movie to my family. What did you enjoyably watch on the screen and you like to read it on the page? Watership Down is something that I actually really enjoyed. I first heard of like that like iconic, I think it was like in the 80s, animated movie where it's like really dark. Well, the whole book is really dark, but I think that's like the big like iconic adaptation it has. And then it had a Netflix adaptation recently, which I thought was also good, but I'd never read the book. But I watched Watership Down, and like that's another one where I have a hard time explaining to people who haven't seen it like why that movie was so impactful, because it is a cartoon show for kids, but it is just super duper dark. Like I tell people like, oh, it's about like bunnies and stuff, and they're like, how dark could it be? And I'm like, but you don't understand. These bunnies mess each other up. Like one of the bunnies, I think, like kicks another bunny almost to death, and they're like tearing at each other with like their teeth and like their little bunny claws. And there was like a really, really, really messed up scene where um, some bunnies were like buried alive. Like the land they had their warren under was marked for development, and it gets like torn up, and like in the process of it being torn up, they're like stuck in their warrens, and they're like trying to get out. And like there's this bit where this bunny is like talking about how like all these like bunnies are like trying to get out of the warren exits, but they're blocked and they're dying, and so he has to like dig past all these like dying rabbits and like all this earth. And it was like done in this like weird experimental style that like literally gave me nightmares. I watched it as a teenager. I saw that, and I saw the Netflix adaptation, which I thought did a good job of like keeping that same dark spirit and then like fixing some of the issues with like the first iteration of the movie. Like the first iteration of the movie, the girl rabbits don't really have anything to do. The guy rabbits are just like, ah, we are free, but like, what is freedom if you don't have kids? So we need these girl rabbits to have kids. And so they get some girl rabbits from some farmer's hutch somewhere. And like, they don't have a whole lot to do, even though like one of the girl rabbits who they find later on down the road is like pretty cool. She like leads a revolution. And like, I felt like it was still kind of awkwardly handled in the Netflix adaptation, but I felt like they did better at like, acknowledging the girl revolutionary rabbit who was just holding things down in her hometown. But that is one I have been meaning to read because I'm just like, it just sounds so wild. Like I'm wondering how much of the wildness is like the source material and how much of it is just like the person who made the movie just like, you know what, we're gonna make these rabbits messed up. We're gonna scar some kids for life and it's gonna be great. What page to screen have you neither watched nor read because you can't choose which to do first? That is honestly not a problem that I've had. Yeah, I don't think I can name anything for this one. What page to screen can you happily live without? I don't think there's anything I've read where I'm like, if an adaptation was made of this, I would never, ever, ever go watch it. But like the Harry Potter movies are something I could definitely live without. Like they were fun enough. Like I watched them when they came out. It was like something fun to do with friends. But if every copy of the Harry Potter movies disappeared tomorrow and I was no longer able to access them, I would definitely be able to live my life as usual. What have you recently read that you'd like to see on the screen? I think I'd like to see Escaping Exodus on the screen. I think that is a standalone book that would translate in an interesting way because it's basically these people who live inside this giant spacefaring beast. And it like is sort of like Osmosis Jones, but instead of like, biological components in like a human host body, it's like the people are the biological components in this like foreign host body. And I feel like you could translate that well into like an adult cartoon that's like very like colorful, very like maybe like neon and saturated looking and experimental and would also be like really cool to look at. So yeah, that's my response to the page to screen tag. And I will tag Opalescent to do this tag next because she was kind enough to tag me in the New Year's book tag. And yes, I tag you. So thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Have a good one. Goodbye.